Hello friends, welcome to BDS Learn New Technologies with video number 44. Today topic is Forum Change Management System. Overview. We have men, machine, material and method. Right. Now it would consist of control any changes to ensure quality, safety and compliance. So what are the things we have? Men, machine, material and method. Now scope. It applied to all departments, whether how many departments we have in our factory. Now we have the production quality control, maintenance, engineering and design, supplier and incoming material. It would also consist of new operator, machine changes, material updates and process modifications. What are the requirements for this? We should have the risk analysis, which is basically a FMEA. We have document approval, we have trial and validation, we have customer approval. These are the requirements. We should have these things along with this forum chain management system. What are the responsibilities of various departments for this? For example, we have the production, which would initiate changing. We have the quality, which approve and validate. We have the maintenance, which support the machine. We have the engineering, which is for process and design. We have the management, which is for final authorization. And what is a procedure, step-by-step process? First of all, we have the change request, then a risk analysis, then approval, trial run, validation, implementation, and record and audit. So what are the key benefits for this? First key benefit is that it would prevent the defects. Second is it ensures compliance. Third, it improves traceability. Fourth, it reduces production risk. Right? Then it is also mandatory for ISO 9001 and IATF 16949. Now we will discuss this TMS procedure for this forum chain management. Now what is the purpose? The purpose is basically to record forum change. What are these forum chain? We have the operator chain, we have the machine chain, we have the tool chain, material and method chain. Management for expected change. For example, new operator, operator only, machine or tool, preventive maintenance, new machine, new gauge and new instrument. And unexpected changes, which would consist of tool breakage, power failure, machine breakdown, etc. If any issues generates later, we can easily track the chain detail through forum chain management. Right? The forum chain management is the systematic approach to deal with the changes in man, material, machine and method. What is the scope? We have already discussed it before. It is applicable for all internal changes in process and bought out parts, BOP. Responsibility is for production supervisor, plant head and quality. Now, responsibility of forum change. First of all, chain point control board. The board is there. The board is put into the regular production where the supervisor would update all these changes on a daily basis. And whatever the changes we are getting, we have to take the approval from plant head and quality head, which is also on a daily basis. Right? Then definition of change. What are the changes we have to define? Change related to a product or process is defined as the man, material, machine and method used for is not as per control plan. It is not as per control plan, work instructions, skill matrix and customer approval. It is not just like a regular control plan we are making, or work instructions and skill matrix and customer approval. It is something we are getting unexpected on a daily basis from man, material, machine and method. Means we are getting it on a daily basis. It is not written anywhere that these modification or changes we are getting, right? And for example, we have the plan change, which is basically expected change, right? What is this? The change that occurs with prior information to the concerned person and defined action is taken to control the occurrence of non-conformity of product at the change point. What is the example of plan change? The machine under plan maintenance, the tool under plan maintenance, new operator employed on machine, operator working after a long leave, the operator leave the workplace due to an urgent work, or new instrument used and new machine used, right? Then we have the unplanned change, which is unexpected change. Now this would the change that occurs without prior information to the concerned person and certain defined action is required to control the occurrence of non-conformity of product at the change point. What is an example of unplanned change? Machine under breakdown, tool or die under breakdown, tool breakage, power failure, different grade materials used, and unapproved material sources used. Now, if any changes are done in man, machine, material, or method related to the process happens, the change shall be immediately updated on the 4M chain monitoring board and recorded in the 4M chain tracking sheets. Now, there are two things. One is the tracking sheet and another is the monitoring board. We have to make the changes in these two things. The respective team informed to 4M chain responsible person about any kind of changes in man, material, method and machine which happens in his area. The chain details of man, material, method and machines are to be highlighted on the 4M chain board. Identify man change as per man machine matrix. The 4M chain responsible person shall update the 4M chain tracking sheet within 30 minutes and take suitable action as per 4M work instructions. If no change is there, the 4M chain responsible person shall fill the 4M tracking sheet with green color, and if there is a chain, he shall fill it with a red color. In case of any chain, information to be given to concerned departments and control action to be taken as per work instructions. Now, what are the benefits of the 4M chain recording? We have already discussed it before, that it is easy to trace defects in the supplier, means traceability is there. In the situation of recall at OEM, it also helps to detect defective products. Means, for example, at some of our OEM, we have supplied some parts, we are getting some problems into that part. So we can easily detect what are the defective products, because someone in that shift has manufactured those parts. So for example, if A person have manufactured those parts, we could easily trace that in place of A person who have made those parts. For example, in place of A person, we have put the X person over there. So we could easily detect what are the defective parts over there. So it provides confidence to OEM and Tier 1 company when it gets 4M chain records timely from its supplier. Okay, this is the confidence. Then reduction in rejection and rework. This is very important thing. We have to reduce the rejection and rework. Right? Now, man change examples in 4M change are operator on leave with information. For example, the operator leave that tomorrow I will on a leave, right? Second, operator will leave without information at the start of year. He doesn't come. That is basically leave without information. New operator working on machine. The operator on long leave more than 45 days. The operator leave the workplace due to urgent place. The operator suddenly leave the workplace due to an accident. The operator suddenly leave the workplace due to illness. Now, in the above examples, point 1 to 4 are planned change and point number 5 to 6 are unplanned change. If we use the same skill level operator in all conditions, then it is okay and do setup approval only. But if we have to use underskilled operators, then it becomes an abnormal situation. Then take containment action, 100% visual inspection and 5 parts recording also of that thing. So now the new thing is containment action, right? In case of new operators, provide training as per operation standards and take containment action of all production of that day. For unplanned changes take retroactive inspection also of all parts from last inspection. Now we have got two terms from this. One is the this one containment action, and another is the retroactive inspection. Right. Then machine or tool change examples in the forum change are: the machine is under preventive maintenance, right? Machine under breakdown, new machine installed, tool under preventive maintenance, tool under breakdown, and new tool used. Then material and method change examples in the forum change are: material received from other approved source, material received from other unapproved sources, a different grade material is used, process parameter change, layout change, process method change, inspection method change, and packing method change. Right? Then this is the forum chain tracking sheet information. Now in this tracking sheet we prepare a summary of all changes in the process and their details. Right? It contains date of change starts, type of change, changes in the description, what action was taken during the change, machine or tool detail, part name, retroactive record, containment record, and dispatch details, etc. Right? Then forum chain control board. This is basically a board which we will just put it over in our regular production, right? So that everyone can see this board like in a regular production. In the forum chain control board, we update all changes in the process and their detail within 30 minutes of change. It contains the date and time of change starts, type of change, changes in the description, what action was taken during change, machine or tool detail, part number, part name, retroactive check record, containment record, and dispatch detail. This is means this one tracking sheet and control board are important, right? Then we have the man-machine matrix. It is a matrix of the operator and process, which is basically machine. By this matrix, the supervisor can easily find out which operator is capable of which process to operate the machine. It is also called a skill matrix, right? So man-machine matrix. It would consist of serial number, operator. For example, there are various operations like laser cutting, plasma cutting, CNC welding, CNC machining, BMC, MIG welding, TIG welding, blanking, punching, press bend, draw reaming, etc., etc., etc. So what would happen? They will put the name of that operator and put tick against which one operation he can perform. So they can easily take that operator from this man-machine matrix. Then we have the skill matrix. So between this man-machine matrix and skill matrix, there is some difference, which is you can easily find out from these two formats. Then we have the skill matrix. Now skill matrix would consist of serial number, name, photograph, experience, total experience he is getting, the designation, and the skill level which is he is getting. Now skill level, we can define the skill level like this is a fabrication shop over there. So whatever the things we can get, for example, knowledge of product, awareness of process, knowledge of instruments, knowledge of drawings, knowledge of safety or PPE, knowledge of 3S or 5S, right? So we will just put his skills under some scoring like whatever defined over here. Then what is the retroactive inspection in forum chain? Now retroactive inspection is to check the suspected parts which are made before any unplanned change or any abnormal change happen. So the record of retroactive inspection is maintained in the below format. In this format, we record total inspection quantity, OK quantity, rejected and rework quantities. It also maintains record of sample quantity as per decided in forum chain work instruction. Right? This is the sample quantity which we can have to choose. For example, we have to do the 5 pieces inspection or how many pieces inspection. This would be defined in this work instructions. Now this is the forum chain tracking sheet, right? So you can easily check from this sheet that there's a 1 to 30 days over there. So we have the man, machine, material, method over there. So we can put the date, time, machine number, chain description, nature of chain, whether it is a planned or unplanned, then what are the actions being taken, right? Then we have the part name, number, operation number, setup approval would be there, training provided or not. Then we have these two things like retroactive and containment. Under this we have the quantity checked, quantity OK, rework and scrap quantity. So similarly we have got the approval and dispatch details we have to put in this sheet, right? So this is a forum chain tracking sheet which I have given it as an example in this video. Then forum chain approval report is also required. It is approval of the process when any process is restarted after any change happened and inspecting the sample pieces for approval. Approval should be taken from quality head, plant head or customer. This is the forum chain tag that we are basically using for these operations. Now these are the work instructions which we are getting. I'll just give it just for your reference. You can just take, for example, we have the forum like men. There would be operator on leave with information, operator on leave without information, new operator, job rotation, new PDA inspector, operator on long leave, extended shift. Means various kinds of change descriptions are being put over there, and what are the actions taken, and what are the planned, or these are the planned change or unplanned change or abnormality. Then setup approval required, retroactive inspection required, containment action required, and activities to be done. For example, this is the criteria. What is the criteria we have to follow? Similarly, we have the machine, which means machine under preventive maintenance, machine under breakdown, new machine, tool or insert broken. We have the POCA yucca in power failure. Then we have material, which means material received from other approved sources, material used for other unapproved sources, and further what are the actions, what are the planned unplanned changes or abnormality over there, and what are the activities to be done. Then we have the method, for example any change in process parameter, any change in process method, like we are getting the ECNs, any change in process sequence, for example with the layout sequence change over there, right? So I have given this work instruction just for your reference. These are the things we have already discussed before, right? So let's discuss the overall thing from this forum chain management system. The forum chain management system is basically for managing changes for a safer and efficient workplace, right? We have men, we have machine, we have method, and we have material. For example, in case of men, this is changes related to personnel and skills and training, right? For example, we are getting the new operator training. This is related to men. We are getting the machine, the changes related to equipment and tools. Example, new machinery installation. We have the method, which is changes related to process and procedures. For example, revised work procedure. We have the material, which is changes related to materials and supplies. Example would consist of new raw materials used. So overall, effective change, how we can do this? Through risk assessment and implementation, right? So we have to effectively note down all the records of man, machine, method and material for maintaining safer and efficient workplace, right? So thanks for this video, watching my video for forum chain management system. Thank you.